What's up again, everyone? This is going to be Jund League number 7. I made a few changes in between this league and league number 6. I took out the Lurrus package. I think the Lurrus version has some pretty good aspects to it. It's definitely better versus mirror-esque decks and just against mid-range decks in general. And there's a lot of that popping up right around now. And so I think Lurrus has a lot of good potential, but for this league, I'm not going to be playing Lurrus. The changes that I've made in taking out Lurruses have been I added a third Scavenging Ooze, I added back the Maelstrom Pulse, and I added back fourth Bloodbraid Elf. So those were the 3 slots that Lurrus was previously occupying. My justifications for these 3, I wanted another interactive, versatile spell versus basically anything really. I had been realizing that versus a lot of matchups that tend to be faster, like mono red Prowess, I really wished I had another removal spell that was unconditional. I'm really loading up on Kolaghan's commands, and 2 damage doesn't always kill everything, especially versus stuff like Prowess, where a single Prowess trigger gets it out of range. So I'm just going to include one more generic good catch-all. I brought in another Scavenging Ooze because it's pretty great against mid-range decks and has really good staying power versus the longer control decks, and also has some benefits versus the aggro decks. While not being large, gaining a couple extra life can matter. And then Bloodbraid, obviously just the generic best top of the curve filler that Jund has. In this sideboard, I have included a third Nile Spellbomb, and that's about the only real change. I originally started testing Goblin Crater Maker with the Lurrus package, and I never actually looped it with the Lurrus package, but I actually found Crater Maker to be impressive kind of just on its own. It's a fine card to bring in against aggro, and it's just also really good versus things like Eldrazi Tron and anything trying to jam artifacts like Ad Nauseam, which has had a lot of players recently. So that's going to be what I'm working with today. Let's look at the current meta. So the date is August 6th, 2020, and not much has changed in the past few days. We've still got blue-white control / Stoneblade on top, followed by Blitz, Uro Piles, and Goblins as the premier combo deck. Jund, our hero, is continually falling down the ranks, but very slowly. And we don't really see our first unfair slam dunk bad matchup until spot 8, which is Dredge. Also don't want to see Gruul, but things that I would like to see are blue-white, Blitz. Don't really mind seeing Uro. Those tend to be pretty good games, but unfavored. Goblins is a great matchup. Gruul not so great. E-Tron is pretty much a coin flip to bad. Jund obviously a coin flip. Dredge not great game 1, but you have sideboard tools games 2 and 3. And then all the combo and aggro stuff I expect to have a pretty fair matchup at. So I think Jund right now probably still an okay choice, and let's see if we can demonstrate that with the league. So let's move this to the side. Where to go? Boom. All right. I still think you really want to be playing 4 Lilianas. Card's just really absurd versus most of the field right now. Same with Kolaghan's command, really. Like, the one matchup that's at the top tables that you don't slam dunk it is probably Blitz, and even there it's got some decent utility. Yeah, it sounds fine. be much better on the play, but pretty much every hand's going to be better on the play. So it looks like it's probably red-green. Could still be Jund. Bloodbraid obviously a great draw if it's either of those two. I guess it could also be something like Neoform still, but I doubt it. Basic Forest probably means, yep, red-green. So I have my ways to play around the Blood Moon already. / Magus of the Moon. So I'm thinking Pillage is going to be most annoying, but I could make my land drops through it. They're going to get to Pillage me before I can play third land. Same with Magus. But I can fetch Swamp first to be able to Kolaghan's Command. It's a bit awkward because then I'm not playing Tarmogoyf on turn 2. The hand is quite good. I'm not entirely sure what to take. I'm pretty sure it's not Magus because I have lots of ways to deal with that. And Pillage is really annoying, but I can't beat Klothys. Not over a long game. Pretty tough take. Like I wish I had just used Verdant to get a Swamp, but there's no way I really know that. So yeah, I mean this means I'm not playing Magus here. Sorry, I'm not playing Tarmogoyf here, which is a pretty big swing. But I really need to get Swamp so I can K-command the Magus, I think. Pretty awkward considering Tarmogoyf is pretty much my best creature versus them. Alright, now I can get Swamp Forest. Gotta imagine I'm getting Bloodbraided here. Though they might Magus in hopes to shut me down, but I do have my two of my colors already. Ooze is annoying. I don't actually have red to kill it right now either. Red land would be a pretty good draw. Alright, there it is. So we got lucky. I should probably just have him discard a card. It is still a mid-range matchup when it comes down to it. Card advantage matters. Or they discard Magus. Jam. I think I'm supposed to be the beatdown now. They're probably going to win a game that goes a lot longer. Which does a lot considering my hand's two of my best creatures in a Kolaghan's Command. Yeah. So I'll take 7 here. That's a really good one. So I feel like I kind of have to attack. They might just block. I can play Tarmogoyf and then sack a Peatland. Do I die to anything then? I can use Tarmogoyf to block Bloodbraid Elf. I can take 4 again. I'm 1 short of lethal if Goyf connects next turn and this turn. So I guess I can just attack first and see where that goes. Then the following turn I can Bloodbraid, maybe sneak it in. So if I play this Bob here with the intention of blocking a Bloodbraid and like putting Tarmogoyf in front of Questing Beast, I just die to a Glorybringer. Because I would take 4 on the ground, 4 in the air, that's 8. I mean, as it stands, the plan right now is block Questing Beast with the Tarmogoyf. They'll be left with a 3-2. I'll be left with a 5-6. Do I win from there? I think I do. I mean, I'm not planning on sacrificing Peatland because I want to cast the Bloodbraid. Land's not a spell, so that's good. Cool. Alright, so now we're in a pretty good spot. So if I Bloodbraid here, I'm assuming Bloodbraid's going to jump in front of a Goyf. Questing Beast to block a Goyf, they'll take 3, and then maybe something else happens. Alternatively, I can Kolaghan's Command 2 to the Bloodbraid, have them discard a card. They'll have to block with the Questing Beast, and they'll go to 3. That seems like the best play, because that means Questing Beast has to die, and we have a lethal threat still on board. And they're left with nothing. Alright, so they're forced to block. We'll go to striking distance. We've got 2 lethal threats next turn. So I don't think there's anything that saves them except for like a Seasoned Pyromancer into something good. Alright, so red-green. I think I want some amount of Nile Spellbomb to deal with things like Seasoned Pyromancer from the yard and make the Scavenging Oozes a little bit more awkward. Pretty sure I want the Plague Engineers to name either Elemental or Elf. Crater Maker is something I can cast under Blood Moon, but it doesn't have anything meaningful I can really hit with it. I don't think just having a 2/2 is going to be very good. Gonna cut the Bob for sure. Red and 6 is stronger on the play because they play their 1 mana accelerants. And Kolaghan's Command tends to be, not very strong when it doesn't kill a whole lot and it's 3 mana. I think I'll cut a Liliana while I'm on the draw too. How does this look? I probably don't mind getting this Ren and 6 back in there. Argument to cutting the Hand Disruption, but I think I really want to keep the Thoughtseizes at least, because it takes the higher impact cards like Endbringer. Not Endbringer, sorry, Glorybringer, the other bringer. And then things like Inquisition and Inquisition of Kozilek are worse than Thoughtseize, but it's still good for nabbing a Blood Moon or a Clawfist on the draw. Not entirely sure. Like, I don't think I mind having these 3 cards in, but I don't know that I would play them over any of these. No, turn 1 Accelerant's pretty big. I would love to draw a green source that gets the basic. That's fine. So I think I'm going to Overgrown Tomb first, because the next turn I can fetch Shock source to get Ren and 6 into play and get immediate value. Like, we know we're not getting Blood Moons next turn. Well, their hand's very good. So I have Maelstrom Pulse for their Ren and 6, and Liliana of the Veil for their Scavenging Ooze. Clawfist is, on the other hand, going to be much harder to deal with over time. But they'll get to stick a Ren and 6, which is a pretty big game. I just don't know that I could beat a Clawfist on turn 3. I may just have to not play my Ren and 6 on turn 2, so I can Maelstrom Pulse theirs on turn 3. That seems kind of risky. I'm just going to take the Ren and 6 now, and then see what I can do about working through the Clawfist. Because I really want to play my Wrenn and 6 on turn 2, and I'm not going to pulse theirs when I've got my own in play. They just scoop? Strange. I'll take it.
Go team.
Yeah, go team. Sounds great. Play a little 8 rack. They've even mulliganed, so hopefully this is brutal. They mulligan to 5. Alright, well maybe it's Dredge or Tron. In which case it might be brutal for us. Or they're just unlucky. Indeed. So there's no guarantee this Inquisition hits anything. But I think I'm gonna cast it anyway. The only thing that'll punish me is if I draw like a 2-mana play that I want to play, and then I wish I had Thoughtseize to definitely take something. All right, cool. That was good. All right, so next turn I can Thoughtseize plus Raging Ravine, and then Liliana to shred the rest of them. Just need a Tarmogoyf now. Fair. So I got a Ghost Quarter. Well, that'll be able to kill the Tome. I think I should be getting the Liliana down now. Possible I should just Kolaghan's Command now to get rid of the Tome. Because like if I Liliana, they can just draw a card and then keep whatever. I think I should just Kolaghan's Command now, funny enough. Because plussing now is kind of just a one-sided discard. Whereas like if I plus now and then K-Command this next turn, they're just going to get another card off of it. So they actually, I think, over time get fewer resources if I just do this now. Yeah, Tome was a pretty annoying one, but it'll be beatable right now, I think. So we're getting our 2 for 2. Still need something like a Tarmogoyf to really get into this. Alright, well we can bolt that and then Liliana. If we Liliana minus, they're just going to attack it. They'll just ping it off. Pretty annoying. So if I Liliana plus discard something, discard Inquisition, they can use their entire turn to pump mana into it and then sack their Ballista to get the Liliana down. That seems fine. So I'll just Liliana plus. Discard Inquisition. And this is if they draw a land. Another Ballista going. Alright, so if they draw a land, they can use their entire turn and Ballista to destroy my Liliana. But that's fine. I just really need to find a threat. Cool. So E-Tron. Pillage is going to be fine for taking him off Tron and just killing generic artifacts. This is a matchup where I'm really glad I have the Crater Makers. And then Plague Engineer is going to be probably just fine. Don't think I want Damping Sphere versus the Eldrazi variant. Gonna take out at least a Bolt and at least a Renin 6 so they don't kill they kill actual nothing. On the draw, I may want to cut the Dark Confidant, especially since they're playing Walking Ballista. I think on the play I'll bring it back in when I'm the aggressor. I definitely feel like early stages we're the control deck. Let's see how the curve looks here. The curve isn't super high, so I think I'm going to shave another Renin 6. Probably just another Lightning Bolt. Bolt doesn't really kill a whole lot profitably. And also taking out 1s to combat Chalice on 1 may come up. I want the Fatal Pushes to deal with the Thought-Knot series. For sure. Inquisition doesn't take a lot very often. It's bad in a top deck where I'll trim one of those. It'll be unfortunate if they like Chalice on 1 when I could have taken it with an Inquisition, but there's not a whole lot impactful that a Chalice on 1 hits the way I've sideboarded. There isn't a whole lot anyway if I were to keep all the 1s in, but none of them are like super high impact. A lot of 3s though, so let's make sure I get to 3 mana. Thank you. Sounds great. I can deal with the fast Thought-Knots here, and I've got the turn 1 Thoughtseize and some threats. Pretty ideal. The only thing I would change is I'd probably wish for a Tarmogoyf over an Ooze. Although maybe not if they've got Relic. They mulliganed again. It's kind of unlucky. Inquisition's nice. I should probably just do that. Not guaranteed to hit anything, but it's not going to get much better than right now. Alright, we get Chalice. Alright, so they're going to get to Wormcoil next turn unless I Thoughtseize it. They could also just Karn minus, get something for 3. It's going to be hard to beat something like a Liquid Metal Coating at this point. But Wormcoil is going to be even harder to beat. How do I threaten this Karn? Like, they're just going to Stone Rain me every single turn. Because like they can get liquid metal coating into play the immediate turn, in this immediate turn. And then they'll be able to Stony Silence 1 land and then just start killing a land every single turn. My top end is Bloodbraid. I think I need to be able to get to the Bloodbraid. So I'm just gonna have to find a way to kill this Wormcoil. But I don't think I can beat that Karn. Kolaghan's Command will do it. It'll get rid of the first half at least. Fatal Push will inefficiently deal with the next half. We've got Tron land in hand. I mean, I'm definitely going to have him discard a card, but I just don't know when. Alright. Now discarding a card doesn't do a whole lot. Alright, well I have to kill the artifact. I guess I'll do 2 to them. Probably should have upkeeped it. Well, land lets me Bloodbraid, which is probably what I'm supposed to do here. I need to start finding things like Pillage, things like Goblin Crater Maker, things like Tarmogoyf. There's a Tarmogoyf. They can get a Scavenger Grounds with their map, which means I think I'm going to be wanting to block with Bloodbraid. Then I'll block the Death Toucher. So that way this ooze can be big enough to block stuff and not die to a Death Touch. Oh boy. Ballista? We can Fatal Push the Ballista. It's probably higher priority than the 3/3 with Lifelink. There are a few things that we just can't beat right now, though, like Karn. So that was a fine draw. This means I get to Fatal Push the Walking Ballista, and then hopefully Bloodbraid into something good. Wow, they forgot to shoot me for 2. That's pretty good. Alternatively, I could just get my ooze down and eat 2 things. On account of them maybe finding Graveyard Hate, I probably should just eat while the eating's good. I guess I should leave 1 in my yard. Well, they could have Spatial Contortion. That tends to be their thing, right? So I'll wait for them to scry and then I'll eat my Goyf. It'll make my Kolaghan's commands worse, but I've got a card in my hand that I'm pretty happy about getting back. And they put a card on top. That's scary. Okay. Jeez. Oof, that's a max punish. Alright, I don't know how I'm going to beat that. It is not with that. I think I needed a Maelstrom Pulse and then a Bloodbraid to even have a fighting chance, and they still have Tron and a Maze Mind Tome. Not good. Alright, now that I'm on the play, I may want the Bob back. Although I did see they're playing like minimum 3 Walking Ballistas. Feels strange, but maybe I just don't want the Bob. I think this is probably fine. I think I just want basic swamp here. It's going to be a pretty painful hand. Although maybe I want to guarantee that I have double red and double black for things like Liliana. Definitely Thoughtseizing here. Because if I draw... Actually, if I draw a 2-mana play, I can't even play it. I could just wait. The thing is, though, if they have map now, I'm going to want to take it. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll get Swamp here, because I need another land anyway. But if it's something like Overgrown Tomb, it's really bad for me. It's just going to be a little more painful than I want it to be, but I'll get Blood Crypt. Alright, well, they've got a Temple and a Mine. I've got Kolaghan's Command for the first home. Chalice isn't really going to do a whole lot versus me this game. I think I just want to let them have it. I don't know that taking a threat like a Thought-Knot Seer is going to be the winning line long run. I guess I'll just take the Thought-Knot just because it's their only threat. It's the only real hole I get to punch. Alright, so I would really love to see a land next turn. Come on, land. Land would be huge. Perfect. Alright, so what am I doing first? I think it's probably just pillage. Pillage the Eldrazi Temple. Like, I can Kolaghan's Command here, but that doesn't actually buy me a whole lot of time. Whereas this does. Like, if I can keep him off on the back foot into a Bloodbraid that hits something hopefully good, then that could put me in a pretty commanding spot. Like, I don't have anything on board now, so the pillage isn't like a time lock. Or hopefully they don't just draw a Tron. That'd be pretty obnoxious. Decay is nice, but I think I want to just get a big thing down. I mean, they get to scry twice a turn if they want. I think I'm behind now. I mean, I went turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 3 Pillage on the play. They bottom. Cool. Bottom. Cool. Hopefully they're like digging for a land and like they don't hit it. Top. Yikes. Another dismember. Or I guess it's the first dismember. I'm remembering the one from last game. And then interesting that they don't want a Chalice on 1. I guess they're just holding up an activation on Tome. So tap land is awkward, but still fine. I think I should just hold up my array of instants this turn. They're going to get to draw a card off of the Tome no matter what. I mean, I could just get the Plague Engineer down, right? Yeah, I'll get the Engineer down. It's like, when would be the next best time to cast this? I don't care so much about the 4 life. Put it on top. Just like a Thought-Knot Seer. Karn. Alright, well that makes me glad I put a creature into play. Inquisition is at a minimum going to be able to take Chalice. I think what I want to do here is I can Inquisition them, take at least a Chalice. I can then Kolaghan's Command, 2 damage to... destroy an artifact, 2 damage to the Karn, and then attack the Karn. Or if I see that their other card is something really good, maybe I just have them discard it. It's a smasher. I mean, I can use the Kolaghan's Command to shoot whatever the Karn gets, but the Karn's gonna get something big that I can't destroy down the line. But well, then what am I doing about this smasher? Like, I can attack the Karn down to 4. They can minus it, but then what do they get? If they minus it down to 2, they're gonna have to get something that protects from the Plague Engineer. I mean, this lets them get an activation off of Karn, which does make me pretty nervous. But this smasher is going to be pretty problematic too. They put a card on top with their scry as well. Jeez. I mean, this could be wrong, because I mean, I do have an answer to the Reality Smasher and the Plague Engineer. I mean, they would get to minus their Karn anyway. Well, I get to decay that. And kill the Karn. Should probably just do that, because I did see that they scryed a card to the top. So it's probably something big. It was a backup Karn. I mean, yeah, this makes me happy to have a full set of Kolaghan's commands in the deck. Jeez. Alright, well I can decay the tome, but at a certain point I'm gonna have to play my creatures. Alright, let me just turn up the heat. Like, if this gets Thought-Knotted, it's such a disaster. And like, if this hits like a Goyf or something, I'm so far ahead. Alright, well it hit one of my dead cards. Let's say no. Pretty unfortunate. Like, if that had a Tarmogoyfs or something there, or just like even another Kolaghan's Command, how insane is that? I mean, if they somehow break out, Ravine is also going to be able to get in. They don't have a lot of mana, and we're ahead on board. Upkeep Scry is a good sign. Let's hope for a bottom, and it is. Okay, I'm hopeful. Okay, so that's going to complete the Tron. Which means all of their payoffs are live. Not good. Alright, so if I activate Ravine, I have an attack for 9, which puts them to 6. That does not mean they are dead to any 2 attackers next turn. I could just Abrupt Decay the Tome, but I feel like getting in damage may be more important. So this might get something like Ghost Quarter, but I imagine they want to complete the Tron to have outs to drawing something good. So pretty unlucky in the second half. A few things could have happened that would have just put me way ahead. Uh-oh. Is it Ballista? Jeez. Jeez. Alright, now I lose. Wow, those two draws were absolutely insane. I mean, I'm not dead yet. There's some good stuff that can happen. I.e. that. So I think I have to use the Maelstrom Pulse on the Ugin. Then I can decay the Maze Mind Tome, but the problem still exists in Wormcoil Engine. Yeah, those two draws from them were absolutely insane. Probably their best two possibles. Right after another Karn. So if I pulse the Wormcoil Engine, they make two dudes. And I have no good attack, and this Ugin continues going to town. Alright, I guess I'm just gonna have to pop this on the Ugin. And say go. Let's actually turn off auto yields and then decay the tome. I mean, we're back to a top deck war, but the opponent has the better pressure and the mana advantage, and they put a card on top with the Scry. Rough. So yeah, the opponent definitely had much worse mulligans than we did, but they drew much better. Alright, so if they attack with Wormcoil, I'm probably just going to block with a Plague Engineer. It's got Death Touch. This way my Raging Ravines are like actually half decent blockers. Not great. I think I'm just going to pass. Because I still don't have great attacks with my Ravine blocking. Seems like a fairly easy block. Blocking either the other two give them cards, so. Ooh, Ooze is excellent. Definitely just gonna plus. Their card's probably not that good. Oh, okay. It was that good. Well, I get to blast zone something. Wow. Blood Braid was good. Tarmogoyf was also good. I mean, that draw might be what stabilizes me. They obviously still have lots of mana and lots of payoffs, and they continue to draw insanely well. And then I know this is going to make them just pop the Scavenger Grounds. But it leaves the Liliana around to minus again. Insane. Just like another reshaper too. Wow. Blood Braid. Nope. Alright, now they've even got the Dismember. I mean, I can make him discard it. Don't think I can beat a Forge against 10 mana too, though. Alright, sure. They drew four of the lands in the top 28 cards. Actually, I mean, I guess they exiled the land too, but that hardly counts. Yikes. Is Moto frozen? Is that what's happening? Yeah, Moto's frozen. Would this work? Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, all things considered, like we drew okay in the beginning of games, but that was something else. I don't think I've ever seen an Etron player draw that hot when they needed to. Like, if we were already losing and they drew hot, then it's like okay. But we were just so ahead 2 of the 3 games, and they just insane draws. Sounds good. I'll bottom a Kolagon's command. Everything else is almost guaranteed to be good. Okay. Well, that's getting bolted. For sure. So the opponent mulligans and had 2 cards that'll do nothing. That's good. This has to be a good matchup, right? I don't even know what they're trying to do, but it has to be a good matchup. So I'm thinking I want to run in 6 now, because it'll guarantee that I get to Liliana of the Veil next turn. I'll want to get basic Swamp next turn, so I'll get Stomping Ground now. This Liliana should be able to clear out the Karn or something better. So we'll get to clear out the Karn. They can draw a card off of a Grove to defend it, but I doubt that's what they want to do. So I definitely want to get a land back with Verdant. They don't have any cards in their hand. Should probably just minus with a Liliana. I don't really think I need to get to an ultimate to win this game. I got the Gen Squad going. Alright, so I'm imagining Plague Engineer's got to be pretty good. I don't know if what they're doing involves them searching their library. I'm assuming they're just playing the Leyline combo of infinite mana and then activate Leyline. This is if a land is tapped for 2 or more, so that doesn't actually do anything. I mean, Crater Maker kills a creature. Don't know that they have any artifacts that are going to be worth killing. This just seems like a really good matchup as it is. Maybe I want Brutality just as another way to kill a creature early. Given that they're a combo deck, I'll shave on one of my expensive plays. Honestly, there's not really a whole lot I want to cut. Like, I think I should just not board in Brutalities. Maybe 1 or 2 is fine. Boy, what else do I cut? Maybe a Kolaghan's Command? Just because 2 mana is less than 3 mana. Brutality is better than a 4th K command? I don't know. Let's just not bring in Brutality. You know what? Since there are creature combo deck, I'll bring in the Brutality and I'll take out a threat. Didn't really see a whole lot of graveyard shenanigans. So maybe it's better to take out a Tarmogoyf. But we'll see. Let's try to fetch. So, I mean, I'm just going to have to hope that a turn T Renin 6 is fast enough, because I don't have a one mana way to interact. Unless I draw one. It's a good draw, but I think I still want to play a Renin 6. Especially because they could have Veil of Summer right now. Don't know which I meant to kill. Probably just the one with Exalted. And that makes multiple colors. It'll be better to kill the Elf if they've got something like Utopia Sprawl, but I imagine they would have played it unless they're trying to keep up Veil of Summer. Okay. So I can Liliana minus to get rid of that. Probably should. Still probably should. So it's -5 as a tutor. Well, that's probably getting Thoughtseized. That was a good draw. So now I can plus the Liliana, discard that, and then get it back with Renin 6. I should plus first till they discard without information. They could still have Veil of Summer. So I'm just gonna hope they don't. Darn. Alright, so I guess I'm playing Plague Engineer here. What do I name? Probably Elf. Actually, these are both Druids, aren't they? They are. So let's name Druid. So ideally I get to Inquisition whatever this is getting. Just plus. Just plus. Bolt is nice. So I can combine an attack, a run in 6 ping, and a bolt to kill the Karn. And the plus means I'm getting their last card, so I can just discard Inquisition. They get to put counters on that, but I get to Edict it with Liliana. So this is not a druid, it is a dryad. A little different. So I kind of get to do it all here. So to kill the Vivian, we got 5 in play. How many creatures in the yard? 2. So it's 1 off of killing them. Off of killing the Vivian. Alternatively, I could just activate Ravine. I mean, I could eat the 2 creatures and then just ping it with Wrenn and 6. It's probably better. But I could also just loop the Peatland. But then I'm not activating Ravine. Yeah, I should probably just eat the creatures. And then ping with Wrenn and 6. Don't think I can lose from this point. Creature combo tends to be a pretty good matchup, right? Especially when they mulligan and then have cards that do nothing turn 0. Not ideal, but fine. So if I'm playing in something like Red Prowess, I'm going to really wish I had played the Swamp turn 1. So I probably just will. Then I can still play my Ooze turn 2. Still think I want to Ooze. Against the blue deck, exiling graveyard stuff is probably more relevant than just a generic big creature. I don't want to get it down under counters. Oboro. So I guess this could be Merfolk, but they haven't played anything yet, so maybe not. If they flash in a 2/2, I can Fatal Push it and then play Tarmogoyf. Alright, so I'm not entirely sure what's happening. Shock pass. Seems like an easy stomping ground here. This can be like Archmage's Charm, I guess. I mean, I'm just gonna pass if nothing else happens. I mean, I could Goyf again. But if they're gonna shock, I think I should just hold up an instant. Alright, so it is some kind of Uro pile. Oh, burrow. Ha ha ha. Okay. It's like the third time that's happened this league, where the opponent has just conceded super early. Alright, so I'm assuming they're playing Cryptics. I'm assuming they're playing Uro, which makes all of these cards pretty attractive. I think I want to shave on Inquisitions and Bolts versus Uro decks. Probably a Kolagon's Command as well. Tarmogoyf is definitely on the weak side. It's one of the better clocks, but it doesn't multi for one, and very often will not outsize an Uro. I think just from a sheer creature density consideration, I'm not going to cut the fourth Goyf. Pretty recently, I've had trouble with threat density. Like I've just like had all of the hate cards and just like have not had the clock, and the opponent's been able to climb out of it. I think I meant to just bin a land. Like I'll probably find another one by the time it's Bloodbraid time. Yeah, and like I shipped that last hand because like the 1-mana removal spells are just not things that I want early in the game. And like for my hands to be good, I needed to draw action and lands. And in that time, the opponent's going to be able to do too much. Alright, so they've got Field of the Dead. Shark Typhoon is really good though. I mean, I can push the token. Let me just take the leak so I can continue playing my own plan. That's an okay one. Let's go for it. A lot of stuff I want to draw here, so let me just get an extra look at it. I haven't seen Uros yet, so it's probably pretty free to get that extra draw stuff in while I can. Alright, well now I probably just want a Liliana. They can flash in a 2/2, which will be annoying. Although they do have mana up, so this would be a fine time to just cast a Bloodbraid. I mean, they can cycle and trade with it though. I think the highest upside play is Liliana. Like if Bloodbraid hits a dud and they just cycle to hit and to block the Bloodbraid, or they don't even have to block Bloodbraid. It's just a game where I easily fall behind. Whereas Liliana, I think will get me ahead faster. Doesn't work out that way though. Same thing, really. Nothing's changed. Them not playing a land is kind of weird. Nice. Well, their hand's very, very good. Don't think I can beat this literally ever. Yeah, I cannot beat that hand. I'll save us both the time. Alright, on the play, Pillage definitely gains back some value. I mean, we saw that they weren't playing Ice Fang, and their removal is mostly things like Lightning Bolt, so Temur Wave might just be big enough to get there. Especially if I can put them on the back foot with the Pillage. And these bolts and pushes did look pretty stupid. I don't think I'm grabbing a race with a bolt that often. There are some matchups where I think I do want to grab a race, but against Uro it seems kind of difficult. I don't know what the other two should be. Liliana is good, but it's possible that against Shark Typhoon it's just not as good. And then maybe I do just leave in one Fatal Push. But to be honest, Kolaghan's Command doesn't kill a whole lot. Maybe just having one is good enough. Let's give it a shot. Just missing my pressure now. And there it is. Two cards I don't know about. I mean, now's probably one of my better windows to get the Goyf down. Right, and it works. Sweet. So my hand's not great, but I've got Peatland to hopefully do some digging if I choose to go that way. And then Brutality hopefully means they can't deal with the Goyf quickly enough to where maybe I can get in enough damage to put them on the back foot. I doubt a Renin 6 ultimate is going to decide this game, but it could. You're going to do it the hard way? That's a hard way. I would love to get the Ravine down now. Because that means I can attack Renin 6 next turn if I want. This might not hit. I mean, I could get my value off of the Renin 6 this turn anyway by just discarding a land to escalate and then get it back with the Ren. It'll suck if they got Force of Negation, but... 2 modes. Alright, it misses. Spell Bomb is a good one. They're gonna get to Shark Typhoon though, to make sure this Renin 6 doesn't ultimate. Alternatively, I could try to attack their Renin 6, because then if they cycle a Shark Typhoon to save the Renin 6, I may be able to Emblem Mine. It's rough. Maybe I should just not go for the ultimate. Maybe I should just Spellbomb first. Deny them another land. But I mean, they've got another land. I think I should go for the ultimate. Because like if they feel to ruin my Ravine, I'll get it on untapped land and I can still play a Spellbomb. Not gonna get any basics versus the Field of Ruin Renin 6 plan. Alright, maybe I get to emblem this run in 6. I think I want to get value off this spell bomb. Can you just take him to the back?
Yeah, take him to the back. So take him to the back.
Ashiok is not a bad one. Unfortunately, the Stark Tusk is going to get a pressure whatever I put down. I mean, I can Ashiok minus target myself, maybe hit a good spell off of it. Well, now I can Inquisition. Don't know that it takes anything, though. I need another Tarmogoyf. I mean, it's a fatal push. I mean, I may need to just Brutality to get rid of this Dark Tusk. Doesn't feel great. It's like they're gonna cycle in a 4/4. That can the 4/4 can get fatal pushed. It didn't cycle in a shark. I'm just gonna play the Typhoon. That's one way to do it. So I need my Maelstrom Pulse. Maelstrom Pulse. Please no Veil of Summer. Cool. This is the Temur one, right? Yeah.
It's fresh too, so it should be yummier than usual.
So none of my good spells are in my yard. Yeah, I can't win from here. Like, I can deal with the tokens, but they're gonna Emblem and have a Shark Typhoon. There's just no way. Cool game, though. I mean, yeah, maybe it was a mistake cutting the Kolaghan's commands. Although I still think the Kolaghan's commands are pretty bad. Unless I'm planning on specifically ultimating a run in 6. I guess one thing I could have done better is I could have Ashiok targeted myself. Because I knew I had Emblem in play, and that's another way to dig for the pulse, so that could have been a mistake. Milling them doesn't really do a whole lot when they've got 35 cards left. pretty too.
Oh, you like it?
Yeah, it's good.
I know I ask often. Nothing really changes from serving to serving.
Sweet. Perfect. If I play Liliana here, I'm not entirely sure what I want to discard. Because I would love the Bloodbraid next turn. But I also want to be able to snipe the Lurrus the turn they put it into their hand. Don't think it's right to just hold it. I'll just discard the Thoughtseize. Like, it'll be a minor punish if I don't draw if I draw lands on this upcoming turn. But Liliana into Bloodbraid is probably just going to be really good. Tarmogoyf. It's fine too. It's basically a Tarmogoyf. They didn't play their Sacred Foundry? I guess I figure that I might just plus, but at this point I'm probably just gonna minus. See if I can finally win the grudge match. Abbott's a good one.
Kato. Hi, Kato. He sends us. We get 100.
One off of killing them. Not really scared of the Solaris at all.
I just saw the neighbor's dog.
Don't know if they're playing. Actually, I know that they're not playing Bedlam Reveler because they're playing Laris as a companion. So don't really need the spell bombs. It's probably just these 5 in consideration. Definitely cutting Bob. I think I'm going to be cutting the Thoughtseizes. And then Renin 6 doesn't really do a whole lot at all. Everything else seems pretty strong. This is 59 though, so maybe I just play like a single Renin 6. This seems fine. Yeah, this hand's great. I'm gonna have to be careful of Blood Moon, but I can play around it pretty nicely. Combo. Combo. So I don't have any red spells. I really don't want to lose to a Blood Moon. So I should probably just get basic Swamp into Fatal Push. And then I'll just like have infinite removal and infinite threats as long as I can make sure I can get my another basic Swamp in a Forest. I feel like that's probably my fail rate. So I'll do that plan. And then if I draw red cards, like whatever, I'll just try to win with like what I've got in hand, which I think I can do. So again, gonna get basic swamp, and then kill one of these things. And then Tarmogoyf is gonna be pretty large. I mean, at this point, they're not hitting lands, so maybe I just want to get Stomping Ground, but I think I still want to save life. Because I suppose another way I lose is I just get damaged out. I need another land for Bloodbraid anyway. And every single land in my deck, with the exception of the Overgrown Tombs and the one Peatland, are red. If they attack, do I block? If I block, this means that Tarmogoyf is going to die to like a single lightning bolt. But then this also enables their light up the stage. I think I should block and just accept the 2-for-1. I've got a backup threat, and enabling light up the stage is a way I could lose. Alright, that's fine. I don't think I would make this play if I didn't have a Scavenging Ooze. Cool. One of the more awkward red sources, but a red source nonetheless. Don't think I can really lose from this point. Something stupid would have to happen. Sure. It's annoying, but my mana's tied up in Bloodbraid anyway. I think I'll keep the Inquisition. It could be good next turn. Sure. Grizzly Bear is fine at this point. Cool. All right. So I feel like this league was pretty strange because there were two matches that we lost, right? The first one was against the Temur Europile, which is supposed to be a pretty bad matchup, and like the games were fairly interesting. But then the other match that we lost was against E-Tron, and I feel like we didn't really have a normal game. Like game 1, the opponent mulliganed to 5, and we kind of just crushed them. And then games 2 and 3, we were really ahead until they just assembled Tron early. In the game two we were pretty ahead, but then they assembled Tron early and then just like had the payoffs. And then game 3 they just like we were again really ahead and they just like drew out of it like an insane god. So I mean I feel like I feel like the Eldrazi Tron matchup escaped from me. And then round 1, I don't remember immediately what it was, but I remember that the opponent conceded really quickly. It was Gruul. We won game 1 versus Gruul, which is already pretty uncommon. And then game 2, I think we were gonna have a close game, and then they just like scooped on their third turn. So that was kind of bizarre. And then I guess round 2 was when we lost. And then round 3 was the really weird Leyline combo where we just like demolished them. Like, that's got to be like our absolute best matchup, or at least like their absolute worst matchup. So I mean, I feel like this league was kind of unrepresentative of how a league usually goes. So I guess the only real thing I could comment on is just like how like I guess like the smoothness of the deck. So this has been the first league where the full set of Kolagon's commands didn't feel super great. They were still pretty good in every matchup that I had them in. Like I still wouldn't have been upset to see one, but there were a few instances where 2 damage wasn't enough or 3 mana was just a lot. The Lilianas, I still think 4 is probably right. I think if I were to replay this league, I'd probably go down a Golagon's command. I don't know for what else in the main, but I think the creature package is probably right. I like all the 1 mana stuff. The sideboard, I'm never sure about the sideboard. Well, I'm never sure about the main either, but I'm always less sure about the sideboard. I still really like the Crater Makers. They've been overperforming. I mean, it just does a lot. And the pillages, I've been kind of waning on pillage. Like, it's obviously great when it's great, but I mean, it doesn't have that extra utility like things like Brutality, Engineer, Ashiok, and Crater Maker have. Like, so with the exception of Damping Sphere, pretty much these 12 sideboard cards, like they all have some extra utility. Like Spellbomb's always going to cycle. Goblin Crater Maker can kill a bunch of random crap even if it's not a particularly A+ in the matchup. And then Ashiok can be just generically good for cutting off fetches and stopping searching otherwise. And then Plague Engineer can probably kill something, or at least trades with something. And then Brutality has 3 modes. So like, Damping Sphere and Pillage are, I guess, my most narrow sideboard cards. And then they come in similar places. Like, they both come in versus Amulet Titan. I guess Damping Sphere comes in versus Storm and Pillages don't. So they're not similar in that regard, but they're definitely the most narrow sideboard cards. I mean, I would like stuff that's more versatile, but maybe just the narrow extra power is worth it. I mean, maybe I just want more Damping Spheres and less Pillages. Damping Sphere is just such a nombo with things like Bloodbraid Elf. Like, you just can't Bloodbraid on turn 4 with a Sphere in play because then you just don't get to cast your spell. So that is a big detriment. I don't know. I mean, like I said, this league felt really, really janky. I'll probably record another one later tonight or early tomorrow because I don't work tomorrow. Woo! So yeah, that's why I haven't uploaded a video in the past couple of days. I've been at work and I've been getting home really, really tired and pretty tired now, as you probably gathered by now. So yeah, I don't have much to say about this league. This league was strange. The deck felt fine. There was no single match that I felt really great or really bad, I guess with the exception of the one where the opponent was playing Leyline combo and we just absolutely wrecked them. But yeah, I mean, I just don't have anything interesting to say about this league, really. Hopefully the next one's a little bit more interesting, generates some more interesting games where decisions matter as opposed to just opponents getting unlucky or me drawing poorly or, I don't know, just random crap. Yeah, I mean, okay, I'm just gonna end it there. I'm rambling, so I'll end it there. Thanks for watching. If you like content like this and want to see more content like this, or hopefully more exciting content like this, like, subscribe, and turn those notifications on. And until then, see you next time.